Hello, and welcome to my farm tour. This is, I don't know how many iterations of farms I've been through, but this is the latest one, and I'm giving this tour right now because I'm about to tear it down and update it a bit. So anyway, I'm going to share how this farm works, some of the good things and the bad things that I can see, and maybe some other folks can share their own ideas about how to uh, make it better, or they might crib some of these for their own farm. Whatever you want to do. So anyway, without further ado, here's what we have here. At the far end is the harvesting unit, which is separate from the planting, watering, and fertilizer side, which is all over here. The middle chests are where the seeds are shot from. There's the watering. And the pink one up at the top is fertilizer, so that, when I go and grow out some broccoli or pineapple, that it harvests in the same time as the potatoes or what have you. So the trickiest issue I find in doing automated farming is moving the mechanism at a constant rate. This one doesn't really do it at a constant rate, but it's close enough to work. So let me go over the control panel here. The blue button controls the harvester, the green button controls the planter, that is to say it starts it, and the red one basically stops it. But these buttons are connected directly to a memory bit, and the memory bit goes to a controller. You can see the controller rotates it down, and then through these controlled bearings, it pushes the mechanism along the track here, and you can see that the bearing is actually here, so it rides evenly with no sag from the bearing, which, I don't know how important that is, but it's what I did. As I said, this thing is controlled by a memory bit, and what makes it stop, actually, in this case, is this sensor here, which at the end of its cycle, it saw this red block here. It's not color. It's not a color sensor. It doesn't need to be. I just put it that way to remind myself what it's for. So anyway, that's how it's powered across the line. And I like this feature where it kind of turns itself up at the end of the cycle, which puts it out of the way. That's pretty sweet. So the planting mechanism is basically the same idea. These switches, they go to the chest, or they control what crops get planted. Each one of these switches, you see this yellow one there, goes to the yellow chest, the purple one goes to this purple chest over here, and then the red one goes to the red chest here. And the pink one, controls whether or not it fertilizes. Now, I said it goes to the chest, and obviously this is stock scrap mechanic, and so it doesn't really go to the chest. What we have here to control it are AND gates. The blue AND gates, you'll see I got a bunch of them. The blue AND gates control the watering cannon, and so each logic gate gets input from the memory bit that tells it that it's extending. The memory bit, the same memory bit that controls the extension of this thing, also controls all of these AND gates here. It feeds into all of them. In addition to that, there is the switch that's associated with this chest, also feeds into here. And most critically, this sensor. And as this contraption rides down the track, the sensor senses these blocks here. And that makes it so that I don't have to do any fancy timing circuits. It's effectively like a Hollerith card. And as the water cannon crosses over each plot, then it gets triggered so that it fires accurately. And the same game is played with the seed dispenser. That is the green, just the green painted sensor here goes into this logic gate, as well as the other controls, to make sure it fires at the appropriate time. And well, yeah, it's kind of a mess of circuits, but that's how it works, and it's the same arrangement for all of these AND gates, including this guy, which is controlled by not only the switch for the crop row, but also for fertilizer. And that means that I can go up here, and this is turning everything off, and so we can watch it progress. It's got the same tilting game that the other one plays, and it goes down the line here, and you can see it's got a bit of a bounce in its step, and every once in a while it will lurch, what exactly causes these lurches, I don't know. And it's also progresses kind of slowly, which is another kind of lurch prevention mechanism. And again, it proceeds along here until the sensor, this sensor, I believe, this yellow sensor sees this red brick that sends a signal back to the logic gate, which turns it off. And as I said, the logic gate is controlling extension, but it's false on retraction. So as you see, our sensors are busy blinking away, but nothing would be firing because the memory bit feeds into here. So that's the farming mechanism. The next exciting part of any base is the base defense. And you can see the principal tote-bot defense is crushers. These are just set on a simple, you would think it would be simple, but it's this circuit here which controls the gate timer here, and there's all this wackiness over here, which has to do, if you ever build one of these things, and if you just build the simple 3-piece conveyor, you will notice after a while that it starts to develop glitches in it. And I'll put a link in this video that explains where that glitch comes from and why this elaborate shenanigans fixes it. So in any case, what that arranges for is for my crushers here to just run unattended, because it's just, I don't know how many. I used to have it where I had them on a switch, where I had to turn the base defenses on, and then, I inevitably forget that I had a raid and come running back and finding bots over here, smashing up my beloved metal. You see, I didn't use tier 3 metal here because it doesn't matter. They can't get through it before they get smashed by the crusher here. The crusher does not defeat farm bots. I've seen videos that say that it can be done with a bit of determination, but I like that determination, and if I'm farming at this scale, well, potatoes are not a concern. Um, but, I'm too lazy really to shoot all of the farm bots. And, or the tote bots and hay bots and so forth. So, if I do get attacked by a farm bot, which I tend to avoid, this Gatling gun, which you've seen here, is my answer to that problem. And you'll see that it's got that remote control, but it's all part of the same wired down build, so it's not truly glitch-based remote, and that makes it hard to aim. And I think with these Gatling guns or any of these tank setups, they are hard to aim. And so this has a scope. It's hard to see in the daylight, and I don't know if YouTube's compression will take this off, and I still haven't figured out how to deal with the roof, but it casts a beam of light in a decent enough cone so that you can get, you can hit something as big as a farm bot. You can take out the odd tape bot with it too, if that's how you want to play it. Now, here's one where I would love to know if anybody's got a better plan, and that is, I put a roof on this thing, and it makes it really a pain in the ass because of that. That it zooms in, and the roof is there because if you're just sitting in one spot, the farm bots will spray at you and knock you out of the seat. And so this roof gives me protection against their spray. But boy, does it ever get in the way. I don't know if there's better ways to do it. Generally speaking, my solution to farm bots is to just not have them. How many, the reason these chests are full of stuff is because I was just playing around with it to see, how to do it. But, in a practical world, you just don't. You can farm up enough of this stuff. The other, aspect of it is, if you want to have a low-stress life, you can either one, plant right after midnight so that all your crops are up by the time the raid gets there, and you can simply either wait it out or whatever you want to do. You do have that farm bot that you have to shoot if you go ahead and plant the the full tier crops, but you can game that too. Again, because of the stupid rules in Scrap Mechanic right now, you can basically go through here and we could just plant, say, one row of potatoes, and pretty soon it'll schedule a raid for me, and it'll be a very small raid, and then you can come around and plant your real crops, and not have to face a really dangerous raid. So that's a thing you can do to mitigate the farm bots. And honestly, I think the real secret of farm bots might be what another Redditor posted about building his farm in a depression in the chemical refinery. That's an awesome idea. So anyway, that's the farm, and you can see that I'm talking to another fellow who used a whole lot of pistons and to make his crusher, and this whole farm is 12 pistons, and that's overkill. Honestly, I could do it with fewer. It's really, you're just restricted by how much concrete can you suspend from a pair of pistons. I do believe that the pair of pistons is crucial, because otherwise the crusher will just bend instead of smashing the hay bot. So I better get my truck out of the way here for the raid. So anyway, this is the current iteration of the farm. One of the things that I'm looking at for the next generation has to do with why I did the robot, or these gangly looking arms in the first place. The gangly arms I never liked. They look goofy. One of these days a tote bot is gonna shoot them, and and leave me into a sad state. And then they also have this this business here where it didn't actually retract all the way, which just completely tickles my anal retentive side. I built this to put it back. I could have actually extended the same controller that controls the circuitry, and just haven't, because I never liked these arms. And the advantage of them is that they allow you to be welded, meaning that the water collection is way in the heck over there, and therefore, it's just wired up here, and they're not. The watering cans don't have to move with the thing. If you had a separate vehicle that was doing it, there's no way to transfer stuff, between one's vehicle and the next, and so you got to do something like that. So that's why the robot arms seem the way to go, rather than some kind of wheeled vehicle. Now, the next iteration will have a wheeled vehicle, and it's gonna basically be a track that's like this. It runs all the way back here to my late lamented glowbug farm. The glowbugs disappeared. No reason why. There they go. But whatever. I can get more. Anyway, the track will run all the way back here, lead to a piston, which will retract this thing so that the watering cans can come up here. What I like about the wheels idea is that it means that you can scale this thing basically that way quite a long way. So that's kind of charming. Another aspect of it might be that if you get glitches, you don't have problems. Speaking of glitches, the thing that you don't see here is pistons. In the previous iteration of my farm, I did use pistons to push the mechanism along, but the pistons just glitch. They just do. And taking this whole thing, the only fix for glitch pistons often is putting it on the lift, and that I just don't even wanna, So, just know there might be, some other ways to do it with pistons that won't glitch, but I have them. So, wheels it is. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the farm. I think what the heck. I'll go ahead and fire it up again. I guess for this. This will probably be the last time I use this configuration. So you might as well make a bang out of it and plant the whole farm. And you can see cruising along here. Oops, I forgot the fertilizer, darn it. Some of those will get wrecked, but that's alright. And definitely I like the rotation, how it gets out of the way. That is really charming. I think the next one I won't have that rotation capability, but it will, I will build it up high enough where it's out of the way. A lot of folks put them on a piston to let it extend down, and that works well too. One thing, if you're building this, if you're thinking about building it yourself, these the controller isn't going to be as simple as turning it onto the slow speed because of the long reach of this thing. You need to control it. Hi, fellas. So yeah, sorry about that. So anyway, the long reach means that in order to go slow enough to be accurate, you have to go in slower increments. And now here is a thing. You can see this fellow over here. He finds that step of concrete to be a little challenging sometimes, and they just do it. They'll stand there, and if you look, there's no step up. If there was a step up, they would smack it. But yeah, there you go. Now, see, he has no trouble getting in there, but some days he just doesn't feel like it. And then the other aspect that you might have noticed I didn't describe before are these push blocks. And they're there to basically clear the towbot legs and haybot legs and towbot heads. And anyway, that just leaves me with a mess to clean up. And I think I'll share I have a garbage truck for just such things, and I'll share that next time. And I don't know why in this iteration of the farm the towbot legs land inside the farm more often than I think they should. And it might be that I could fix that by backing up the pusher. I'm not real sure how I could make that better, but it's what it does. It's what it is. So anyway, thanks for bearing with me this long, and I will hope to hear from you in the comments. Ooh, another part for my towboat. Thank you. Bye-bye.